Hey folks, Russ Bailey here. Thanks for joining us. It's time for another BrushPile Fishing, the video podcast. We've got a special show in store for you today. As you guys know, we have our annual Veterans Tournament coming up the first Saturday in October, and we're going to switch things around a little bit. You know, we've always donated our money to the Travis Mills Foundation, which is an absolute awesome organization. We're going to switch things up this year. We're going to talk about that, and we've got a very special guest coming up. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back with BrushPile Fishing, the video podcast. Welcome back to BrushPile Fishing, the video podcast. We're brought to you by Bob Cycle in Sydney, Ohio. And with us today, a very special guest, Justin Schmitt from WeFaceTheFight. How are we doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'll tell you what, we've got a first really cool fall morning. It's been great this morning. I appreciate you joining us. I know that you have a super busy schedule. And folks, let me tell you a little bit. If I'm sure you guys know that we always have our annual crappie tournament. This year it's going to be the first Saturday in October on Alum Creek near Columbus, Ohio. The captain's meeting will be the Friday night before. That'll be at the VFW in Delaware, Ohio. We'll go over all the rules, and of course, we have a fish fry for everyone there. It's a good time, good fellowship. A lot of veterans are actually there fishing this tournament every year. And as I talked about in the open, Justin, what we have done in the past, we have donated our money to the Travis Mills Foundation. And that is a super organization, what they do with veterans. And one of the things that we love here at BrushPile, we do a lot of different fundraisers and for events and stuff, but anytime that we can help our veterans, that's what we want to do. And that means more to me than anything we've done in the past. And this year we wanted to switch it up. We heard about your organization actually through the National Memorial Veterans Museum in Columbus, Ohio, is where we found out. So you're with WeFaceTheFight. Can you explain to the folks, just tell what the organization's about?
Well, thank you very much again for having me. And so WeFaceTheFight is a coalition of organizations focused on reducing veteran suicide prevention. And, you know, fishing is an easier topic than suicide prevention for sure. So I just kind of want to acknowledge that right out of the gate. But those who serve our country, do so with a lot of selflessness. Both them and their families are subject to unique strains and stressors that are very common in military life. But what's not common is the veteran suicide rate. You know, it hasn't always been out of proportion. Prior to 9/11, you know, almost 24 years ago, the veteran and civilian suicide rates were pretty close to each other. But after 9/11, during the course of that 20-year war, which saw unprecedented operational tempo and strain and stress among military veterans, the veteran suicide rate crept up every year for almost 20 years straight. And it's currently about 1.5 times worse than the civilian population. And I always have to catch myself when I say this out loud. But the reality that we're dealing with is that over 125,000 veterans have taken their life by suicide since 9/11. Over 125,000. During that same time period, we lost about 6,500 U.S. service members to combat operations. So said another way, the veteran suicide rate outpaces combat-related deaths since 9/11 by a ratio of nearly 17-1.
And that's something I didn't even realize.
It is, and it's shocking. But you know, what I can tell you is that if there's any silver lining, and you could easily ask, what is the silver lining?
Right.
The silver lining is that veteran suicide is not inevitable. It is preventable. And there are, what BrushPile Fishing does, in part, in addition to developing camaraderie and community, is helping reduce social isolation. And that is a really important thing that is upstream of things like suicidal ideation or crisis. But there are interventions and and programs that are proven effective at reducing veteran suicide prevention. So part of Face the Fight is focused on philanthropic grant making to nonprofit organizations that have highly effective programs at reducing veteran suicide. And then the other part of the equation is talking about veteran suicide differently. There's something in the military culture that, it's not cool to talk about when you're on the struggle bus, or if you're having a mental, challenge in your life. It's much more common to kind of suck it up and push through it. But we're human beings, and veterans are human beings. And the ultimate sign of strength is to make it through the hard times in life and come through the other side intact with you and your family together. It is not a sign of weakness to raise your hand when you need help. And it's not a sign of weakness to check on a buddy and see how they're doing and have an honest conversation about how it's going and where we can help each other. So Face the Fight is a movement, along with philanthropic support and a coalition of about 200 entities now that have joined forces to put a serious dent in the veteran suicide prevention problem.
How long has your organization been around?
So Face the Fight was established in June of 2023 by USAA in cooperation with the Humana Foundation and Reach Resilience and Endeavors Foundation. And those three companies started Face the Fight with about an initial $35 million corporate and foundation commitment to fund evidence-based interventions proven effective at reducing veteran suicide. Over time, that amount has grown, and there are about 30 nonprofit community-based programs, including several that are focused on mental health and well-being, that are available free of charge for veterans. And that information is available on a website that's at WeFaceTheFight.org, WeFaceTheFight.org.
Okay, and we'll have that up on the screen also. Are you guys truly a national organization now?
Yeah, so Face the Fight does have a national orientation and funds nonprofit interventions, in a variety of states and locations. But a lot of the philanthropic support that we provide funds programs that have, a very broad reach. Organizations like Stop Soldier Suicide, the Cohen Veteran Network, the Headstrong Project, for example, are three examples of programs that provide free clinical care to veterans and family members.
Awesome. So our tournament is going to be October 5th. Will you guys have a representative there that our veterans can talk to, or even a non-veteran if they want more information to help out?
Yeah, a member of our team, Kendra Matthews, is a retired colonel, an Air Force Academy graduate, and is a key member of our team. And she is very much looking forward to attending and representing Face the Fight, but more importantly, connecting with the individuals there.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, we do have several veterans that actually fish our tournament. We have non-veterans, but this is one thing. And I know we talked in the beginning of the show, we love having the tournament and everything, but this is one tournament where it truly does not matter where you place, because everyone wins in this because of what we're, putting the proceeds towards. And something you probably didn't realize. And again, we do not ask people to do this, but we have a pretty good payout for first, second, and third place in this. And I don't think anyone has ever kept the money. It's all been donated back, and we have never and never will ask them to do that. But that's the kind of people that we have in this. And like I say, one of the things in our area, and I'm hoping it's nationwide, is we absolutely love our veterans. We know what they go through. We don't know how deep it is sometimes, but that's why when I heard about this organization, it's like, absolutely, we hope we can help you guys out this year.
We really appreciate it, and thanks for the friendships that you foster, the experiences, and the connectivity that you foster among those military veterans who participate.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to add that you'd like the people to know here on the podcast?
I think I would just close by saying, three things that veterans can keep in mind if they'd like to join us in Facing the Fight and helping to reduce veteran suicide. One is check on a buddy. October is the month of your fishing tournament. It's also National Buddy Check month through the Department of Veteran Affairs. If you just Google Buddy Check month, the Department of Veteran Affairs has a very good process on how you can make a meaningful connection with buddies in your circle, even if it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, but they're on your mind. And Starbucks, who's one of the companies engaged in Face the Fight, is providing 10,000 Starbucks gift cards for the first 10,000 veterans that register in National Buddy Check Month. So you can have a buddy check over a coffee and really take so that's one. Second is, visit WeFaceTheFight.org, and there are a number of nonprofit organizations that receive funding from Face the Fight that have excellent programs. If you just take 10 or 15 minutes to get oriented you become more knowledgeable. And then I think the third and final thing, and sometimes this is a little bit hard to talk about, but secure firearm storage is considered an evidence-based intervention that helps reduce suicide. And all it means is if you have a weapon in the home, if you securely store that weapon in your home, just like how weapons are secured on any military installations or military vessels for that matter, when a weapon is securely stored, it creates enough time and distance between, a moment of anxiety or desperation and a weapon that's just sitting there on the bedside table. So if you have a weapon in the home, consider securely storing it. It keeps it out of the wrong hands, but it also creates some time and space between a terrible decision. And firearms are the most commonly used lethal means for veteran suicide, and we want weapons, just to take a beat and remember that you are needed, you are wanted, you are valued, and we need our veterans here for the long term because they make our country better after their service. In addition to what they do during their service.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Justin, I appreciate you joining us here on the podcast today. And again, folks, this is a lot more sombering podcast than we normally have, but I think it's things that we really wanted to get out, things that we need to listen to. Even some of those numbers caught me off guard. I knew it was bad. I knew it was a problem. I didn't realize it was that big. So we're glad to help out. Folks, visit WeFaceTheFight.org. Even if you can't fish our tournament, check out what they're all about. Make that donation. Let's help these veterans any way we can. This is a super way because the most important thing, they've done their part. Now let's do ours to help them out also. Justin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you and everyone at BrushPile Fishing.
Thank you. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and we hope to see you October 5th. But like I say, the most important thing, check out their website and do what you can. If it's a little, that's great. If you can do a little more, that's great. But anything that you can do, we appreciate. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. We'll be back again with BrushPile Fishing.
Bob Cycle Polaris has the deals of the summer. Visit in-store September 21st for our open house event. Call 866-303-8182 or visit hitthegas.com to learn more.